You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, Godzilla 2014 Day 15. Yes. Yes. Oh my god, that's fun. I'm not going to be able to do that anymore in 2 weeks. Maybe some of you will be happy about that. Who knows? Alright, so continuing the 30 for 30 countdown. We are on day 15. Continuing this countdown with your questions picked by you guys. I'm just actually going through the list, picking the questions that I think would be, pretty interesting for myself and for you guys to answer and to just exchange this kind of stuff. So, this question comes from James Strange. What are you looking forward to the most about Godzilla 2014, and do you have any concerns about how it will set itself above the trend of other monster disaster films? Good question. I think that's a solid question. That's a good question. I'm just looking forward to, you know what, honestly, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is the story. I want to see how this all comes together. I have no concerns about the look of the monsters because we've seen them now. I have no concerns about the action. I think we're going to get just enough of that. The length of the movie to me is perfectly fine. It's over 2 hours. That's what we wanted. So I don't think in that aspect I don't have too much concern with the movie. My only concern being some of the unknown. Are there going to be certain things about this movie we may not like? There's still a possibility of that, because you want to know something. As much as we've seen in the trailers, when you look at most of them, I would say, and I'll use the tidal wave as a prime example, the tsunami that happens in Hawaii. That scene has been in almost every trailer. When you really cut down what we've seen, we've probably seen maybe 6 minutes total of the movie in trailers, which is not a whole lot. And considering the movie is 2 hours and 3 minutes, so you're still looking at just under 2 hours worth of movie we have not seen. I mean, when you pan across, when they use the pan across Vegas and you see the destruction, we've seen that a dozen times. We've seen Cranston shutting the door on his wife a dozen times. We've seen his wife crying through a peephole a dozen times. We've seen the airport explosion a dozen times, and then later on they added the foot and they added the Muto. We've seen the train get crushed by a Muto a dozen times. I mean, we've seen a lot of what they've shown more than a dozen times. So the concern is, how's it all going to blend together? The story that we know of so far, there's so many different rumors out there. You still got people who are saying that the script leak, which I didn't read, saying that the script leak matches it. There's some people who say it doesn't. There's some people who think that the Godzilla was either created by the nuclear bomb or the nuclear bomb was created to destroy him. I've read so many different theories at this point that it's one of the reasons I stopped speculating a long time ago, because there's enough there to excite you, but there's not enough there to really figure the whole thing out. And I think that's what's driving people bonkers in the last month. You've had people playing the guessing game so much, and some people so certain about one thing and not so certain about another, and people going back and forth, flame wars starting, petitions going on to get somebody back, to get Akira back into the movie, which, I mean, there's so much going on with this movie. So yeah, there's some general concerns, mainly about the story. I'm not concerned about the monsters. I'm not concerned about the fight scenes or however many we may get. I'm actually more concerned than anything about getting the movie spoiled for myself in the last 2 weeks, which is very difficult for me to do doing YouTube, because there's people in the comments who spit shit out all the time. So, I mean, you know, that's really my concern, is maybe the story. I want to see how the story comes together, but it's also the most exciting part for me. That's why it's you guys don't see me commenting a whole lot in the comments anymore, because I don't really come back if I see, like, for example, if I read somebody's comment and if I see the first word say track listing, I immediately leave. That's like the biggest spoiler out there from what I understand, and it's the one thing I don't want to read. So that's why you guys haven't really seen me, you know, and even now going through these comments, trying to peel out questions from you guys, very carefully doing it, because I don't want to read a spoiler. So far, I've been fairly successful. I've only gotten 2 portions of the track leaked, not track leaked, excuse me, the track listing spoiled for me, and I really can't call it a spoiler because one of them was the title of a trailer, so not a big deal. In terms of how it's going to, let me just pull this up real quick. In terms of how it's going to set itself apart from other monsters and disaster movies, I think the people who are comparing this to Pacific Rim are going to get a rude awakening. Well, not a rude awakening, a pleasurable awakening. There's going to be no comparison. While they both involve giant monsters, this is a completely different tone of movie that's supposed to be set and grounded as much as you could possibly ground it. And in terms of disaster movies, it's probably the one movie in many years that portrays a disaster that is not created by either end of the world event, a meteor, some crazy storm. It's actually by a giant animal, a giant monster. So I think disaster-wise, that's how it's going to set itself apart. I think when people look at it and compare it to the Pacific Rim, they're going to see that it's on a whole different level. And I also think that this movie has the potential, if it's good, if it delivers on what we're expecting, has the potential to A, set the standard for future monster movies, and B, possibly kick off. Now, I don't want to say kick off because the genre is not dead. The kaiju genre is not dead, but maybe reinvigorate it a little bit. Get more people interested. Make it something that Hollywood will look at and say, you know what, we might have something here. Let's start trying to make some more movies like this. So, but that's just my opinion. And obviously this 30 for 30 video has gone on far too long. So what do you guys think? That is a great question by James Strange. And to repeat the question for those of you who missed it, what are you looking forward to the most in the Godzilla 2014 movie? And do you have any concerns about how it will set itself apart above the trend, above the trend of other monster/disaster films? This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.